We are on, you have to see down here what they have. So they have to take a look after Kineshler. They have a new weight and exercise room downstairs.
What?
Did you know that? There's a new weight and exercise room downstairs, yeah. Just opened up a month ago. Yeah, sure. Nobody has to learn anymore. The Baruch Hashem, used to have to go to be a Vato Torah as a little bit of a nisayon to find that maybe you could sit and learn instead of being Vato Torah because it was difficult to get to the weight room. I had to go to GCC. But now, if you want to be Vato Torah, just go downstairs. That's all you need. So it's right here on campus. They brought the Yitzhara here. So, what? Yeah, I'm recording. This I'm recording. Yes, I find it extraordinary. Their Rabbeim hours. Everybody can go down and exercise and spend time in the ring. What? Not base medrash bachrim. You were a high school kid. You were subhuman. But this is for base medrash guys too. Yeah. Okay. We're on, what? Sorry, I don't know if there was a base measure, but there certainly won't be one of this with the weight rooms and all the other distractions. All right. Misha Amar, Dafi Ralph Amrav. Parakim Alach Aleph. Misha Amar Reini Nazir. Some of you said, this is really a continuation of last night. There's directly built on everything we learned last night and continuing on, and something's arguing, something's agreeing. Misham Reini Nazir, somebody says Reini Nazir, Galech Yom Shloshim Ve'echad, he shaves on the 31st day. In Gilech Yom Shloshim, if he shaved on the 30th day, Yotza, he was fulfilled the obligation. However, he said Reini Nazir Shloshim Yom, said I'm Nazir for 30 days, in Gilech Yom Shloshim Lo Yotza. If he shaved on the 30th day, he wasn't Yotze. Now, the way the Bavli explains this Mishnah is based on when we say Miktas Yom Kikulu or not. If he said I'm a Nazir Stam, without specifying time, so then it's 30 days, right? And 30 days is until the 30th day, but Miktas Yom Kikulu. If you say he's a Nazir for 30 days, it means 30 complete days. The 30 complete days, we would not say Miktas Yom Kikulu, right? Very simple. The problem is, as the Yosher points out here, Yerushalmi seems not to learn that chiluk. Yerushalmi, this chiluk, and the Brisker Rav, as I said, talks about the Rambam, and makes a whole big deal out of it, but it's obvious that Yerushalmi, as he himself points out, does not hold to this principle. There is no mitzvah yom kikulo distinction whether we say mitzvah yom kikulo, whether we say if it's a nazirus of stam or nazirus of a molos. There is no distinction. Now, what exactly Yerushalmi holds mitzvah yom kikulo means, and what exactly the application is, that's a good question, which we have to thrash out. Now, the Bibazia at the bottom points out that everybody agrees, though, as we mentioned also, that we do say mitzvah yom kikulo at tchilas nazirus. It's only not at the end of nazirus. And the reason is because the Torah never said you have to accept by yourself nazirus today for the next day. You can begin nazirus in the middle of the day. So therefore, mitzvah yom kikulo does apply on the first day. It does not apply on the last day. Okay? That's basically. What? Oh, yeah. What I meant is that it's on Malos. And the Nazirus, which is on Malos, where it doesn't apply on the last day, right? According to then, it could still apply on the first day.
So if you start the Nazirus at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, that's one day. That's day one. Even though it's Malos. No. Right. In Malos, right. Yeah, it's Shkia on the 30th day, right. That's, right. Malos is only on the end date, not on the beginning.
And what's the logic of the Mishnah?
Oh, it's going to be a question. You'll see from the Yerushalmi that it doesn't hold of that dichotomy. You look right away. Hadam is Bar Kapara. the Reisha is a proof to Bar Kapara. Bar Kapara said way back on Daf Dalet, I think it was. We're on Daf Dalet, Daf Dalet and Aleph. He says that, but you learn the 30-day period of Nazir is from the Gematria of Yiyeh, and Yiyeh and Gematria is 30. So when is the Nazir is 30 complete days, and it only ends the next day, right? That's the ratio. However, the Sefer which says, I'm sorry, the Sefer is Bar Kapora. It says Shloshim Yom Lo Yotza. It says Nazir is 30 days. You Galeach on the 31st day, on the 30th day you're not Yotza. You have to Galeach the 31st day. Hada Misayeh, the ratio it says, yeah, you gotta do everything over again. Oh, you gotta do everything over again. Yeah, because you read too early. Hada, the ratio, it says, you are to be shaved on the 30th day. Hada, the side of Rabbi Yedison, that's like Rabbi Yedison, who said back on Daf Dalet that we learn it out from the fact that it says 29 times in the parasha, I forget which word. Neder Nazir, it says, Nazir trainer, Neder Nazir, those words, something like that. Anyway, I'm glad you guys remember because I don't. But in any event, so what does Yerushalmi say the difference is? Not between a Nazirus of Malos and a Nazirus with not Malos, no. It's about them, and the Mishnah is bringing down two different opinions. The Mishnah is not consistent. Or in the Bible, Mishnah is consistent. It's talking about two different types of Nazirus. For Yerushalmi, the Mishnah is inconsistent. And Tanakama holds that Nazirus is 29 days, and Tanabasla holds that Nazirus is 30 days. One like Bar Kapara and one like Rabbi Yedison. If Yerushalmi held the Chiluk of the Bavli, we wouldn't have these problems. But obviously Yerushalmi does not hold the Chiluk of the Bavli. That's the Aryasher's thrust here, which makes sense.
Probably have the sources of Yiyah and Nazir?
I think it did. I think the Bavli does. I mean, I don't know if all of them. Year is definitely the Bavli. I don't know if the 29-day one is. But he is there the Bavli. So I'm not, maybe it doesn't. It's a good point. I didn't check that out. But Naaman says to him, wait a minute. Ha'atarte is a taka, two different Tanoim in our Mishnah? That's not fair. No, Leisi Elachad, it's only one Tana. Because this Tana, this Tana reneged. Okay, the Tana actually changed his mind in the middle. Zuedus. Now, if you take a look at the next Mishnah, look at the next Mishnah. Turn the page. It says at the end of the next Mishnah, Zuedus, Zuedus hey Rabbi Papayas. Misha Nazir steht in Yerushalmi Gilechas Rishon Yom Shloshim, Meglechas Shnia Yom Shishim, Yilech Yom Shishim Chaser Achas Yotza, Shom Shloshim Olam Min Amin. He said the Eidos Rabbi Papayas, right? So it modifies the first Mishnah. How so? Yodin Hayu, they knew the Shushu also Galeach. They knew that he's also to shave till the 31st day. They knew that. Elisha Yisvurim, they Yisvurim, but they taught them Tanoim, Yilech Yom Shloshim Lo Yotza. They thought, and as a result, if you shave on the 30th day, you're not Yotza. But I don't know what the im is here, but let's just chop it out. Papayas comes to testify, Im Gilech Yom Shloshim Yotza. If you shave the 30th day, you're Yotze. So then, according to, it's not clear exactly the way the Yerushalmi wants to learn it, but it seems that the Yerushalmi wants to say that the first halach of the Mishnah reflects the Eidos Rabbi Papayas, then Gilech Yom Shloshim Yotza. Because previously they had thought like the Sefer, which is Yom Shloshim, only if you're Megaleach on the 31st day of Yotza. But in fact, the halachas of Rabbi Papayas, they can be Megaleach on the 30th day. Okay? So now, 1 second. So the Yerushalmi comes out that it does hold the Miktzas Hayom Kekulo. But if it holds of it by both. Because Yerushalmi, again, the way Yerushalmi is learning the Mishnah, again, it's still not two different parts of Nazirus and Nazir Similos. Rather, by Yerushalmi says, initially we thought 31 days dafka on the 31st day. Then we understood 30 days on the 30th day works as well. So the Mishnah here started with the halacha, telling us what we thought initially, before that, how we came to the conclusion of that halacha, and that after the Eidos Rabbi Papayas, we came to the conclusion that we do say Mitzvah Siyom Kekulos. Yeah, but it's based on right. That's true, but it's based on the concept of each Nazirus having Mitzvah Siyom Kekulos. Yeah, the Gemara is going to discuss that. Gemara will discuss it. Right now, the Gemara is saying we see Rabbi Papayas because he says even 59 days are not enough, right? So he holds Mitzvah Siyom Kekulos on both ends, right? Otherwise, you couldn't get to 59 days. So anyway, so you see, so that's how the Yerushalmi is learning. Okay, so it says the Gemara, Yotz Rabbi Yami. I'm sorry, Rabbi Yami Avaleuta. Rabbi Yami had a ma'aser of Avelus. Obviously, it seems there was no Nazir this time Rabbi Yami anymore. So therefore, it's probably Avelus. Probably after Uta, he had a case either for himself or some congregant. And he shaved on the 30th day, right? Because you could shave after Shloshim, right? When you're not Avelus. Then he had another case. He either shaved himself or allowed shaving only after the 31st day. So the second time he was more machmir, right? Even though it's Avelus, right? Right? Okay? Rabbi Yami learned from the Mishnah, right? This is that seems that the Mishnah, at least in the Seif over here, was machmir. Says that Yom Shloshim Lo Yotzo. So it means you have to wait the 31st day, so they don't say Mitzvah Siyom Kekulos. We see that tomorrow. We learned this as we learned. Mishnah Shtei Nazirus. Next Mishnah actually is Mishnah Shtei Nazirus. Somebody who kept two Nazirs, but he shades the first one on the 31st day. So we see we need 30 full days. So says the Gemara. Now you know what? It's not necessarily true. You're learning that Rabbi Yami held that the Mishnah changed its mind, needs 31 days, or the Mishnah. I should say. There is an opinion Mishnah Dafka 31 days. I have to make that still clear. Initially we said it's two different Tanoim. Then we said, well, maybe it's one Tana, and the Tana initially held not a great Papayas, then he holds a great Papayas, and the first line in the Mishnah reflects the final law. Now the one says, it's possible it's not necessarily the case. Rabbi Yosef said, Tam l'shavar kol chatchilo. It's possible that it's l'chatchilo and b'di'evet. The chatchilo, everybody holds you should shave on the 31st day. On the b'di'evet, people hold you could shave on the 30th day, right? Now, I'm not sure exactly how he reconciles that with our Mishnah. I don't know exactly what he wants to say, but it seems like he's coming to say a principle in Mitzvah Siyom Kekulos. The Mitzvah Siyom Kekulos is only a b'di'evet, not l'chatchilo. Okay? So even though Rabbi Yami came to the conclusion as a result of reading our Mishnah that he can be Meleach on the 31st, the 30th day, as the daf could be the 31st day, nevertheless, that's only l'chatchila, but you are Yotzei the 30th day. Now, again, you need really several large sledgehammers to get that into our Mishnah, because our Mishnah says, Gilech Yom Shloshim Lo Yotzei. But he wants to say that's only l'chatchila, not b'di'evet.
Very specific about Stam, Nazirus, and
But no, they don't say that. Later on we'll come to that, but in our Mishnah, Yerushalmi pays no attention to that.
That's very, that makes sense.
I feel your pain, but I can't do anything about it. Okay? So it says the Gemara, Rabbi Yirmiyah, Rabbi Yitzchak Atushaya. Rabbi Yirmiyah passed Rabbi Yitzchak Atushaya, and he passed in even the Chatchila be makel. Now it could be only by Avelus, but he said even the Chatchila makel. V'kalech yom shlosh, you can shave already on the 30th day. Nimas nisa for the following brisa. Shmez shmona yomim. If a person kept 8 days of Avilus, and then Yontif is coming out on the 9th day. So we know Yontif is Mevatel Shloshim, right? You can cancel Shloshim. So it says the Gemara, if you kept 8 days, in other words, a day past Shiva, so then on the 8th day and the 9th day is Yontif, you can shave on the 8th day. He Shminis, he Yom Shloshim. Because the 8th day is as if it's the 30th day because it's Erev Yontif and it stops Shloshim. Rabbi Yosef said, maybe there it's different. Shani Tamochim, they covered a regular theory. Maybe talk a regular Shloshim. You only shave on the 31st day. Why did they let you shave on the 8th day over here? Because they'll cover the Yontif. And now to prove to you that this is true, Rabbi Yechel Bar Chuna said, Hashem Yochanan named Rabbi Yochanan, if his 8th day comes out on Shabbos, now this is again talking about a Nazir, and then Avil, his 8th day came on Shabbos, and on Sunday is Yom Tov. Okay, so his 8th day is on Shabbos. He kept Shiva, he got from Shiva Friday morning. Shabbos is the 8th day, and Yom Tov is Sunday. Okay, so what do we say over there? Migalech Erev Shabbos. He shaves on Friday. Now, there you can't say that he shaves on Friday because Shloshim is over. Shloshim not over till the next day. In Tamar Shalom Ibnei Kovet Regel Hitiru. But if you say it's not because of the regel, right? So if you look Chal Yom Shloshim Shalom B'Shabbos, why B'Shabbos B'Galech B'Erev Shabbos? Then why is it specifically in this case where Yom Tov comes out on Sunday? Let's say Shloshim comes out on Shabbos. So you should be allowed to shave Erev Shabbos, but you're not. It's only in this case where Yom Tov is coming out on Sunday, then you're allowed to shave Erev Shabbos. Not where your Shloshim ends on Shabbos. So we see that this is only because of Kavod HaRegel that we're matter this. Not because Mitzvahs Yom Kikulo by Shloshim. Again, Mitzvahs Yom Kikulo is by Shloshim, and that's why we push it off. That's why really Shabbos is Shloshim is over, and we let him shave a day earlier because on Shabbos he can't shave. So then also when Shloshim comes out on Shabbos, we should say that really his Yontif his Abayos is over Shabbos morning, and he should be allowed to shave Erev Shabbos. But then we don't say he can shave Erev Shabbos. So it must be that he's not allowed to normally shave. It must be that the reason we're matir is because of Kavod HaRegel, not because of Mitzvahs Yom Kippur. And furthermore, it says on all Mason, after 7 days you can roughly sew together your garment where you decree on it. If it's, however, if you want to fully sew it, that's only after 30 days. So, v'yishlo yom shiva, if mitzvah yom kakulo, then let's do the loose sewing on the 7th day, after the morning is over. V'yachal yom shloshim, and let the true sewing be done on the 30th day after shloshim is over. So must be, since we say must be after Shivan of shloshim, must we say we don't say yom mitzvah yom kikulo. So Chagai said not necessarily. Tiyu shma sakein v'shma sakein. This statement you can hear it this way, you can hear it that way. Meaning when it says that after Shivan, after Shloshim, it might mean after the 7th day, i.e. on the 8th day, after the 30th day, i.e. the 31st day, but it might mean after Shiva is over, which case would mean on the 7th day, or might mean after Shloshim is over, which means on the 30th day. So from here we have no raya whether we say Mitzvah Yom Kikul or not. So Yerushalmi leaves it dangling, basically. When and where we say Mitzvah Yom Kikul is very ambiguous in Yerushalmi. Obviously you're not finished with it. Mishnah Nazir
Shabbos followed by Yom Tov. And Yom Tov, the case, you can't shave Erev Shabbos even though Shloshim doesn't end until Sunday.
Shloshim doesn't end till Shabbos.
Shloshim doesn't end until
Till Motzoi Shabbos. Yeah.
So you can't shave Erev
Yeah, I don't know if that's halacha on my side. I didn't look it up, but that's what it says over here. Okay, I don't know. That would be a case, well, it's opposite the case this year, actually, because Shavuos comes out on Friday. And Shavuos came out on Sunday. Which happens. What? No. By Tumo, you don't say Mitzvah Yom Kippur. Sined Harav Shemesh. By lighter Tumas me. What? But by lighter Tumas, it's not Kosher Mitzvah Yom Kippur. It means you're not time for an entire day. I think if Shomer's Yom Keneged Yom, who's Tumei, has to wait the entire day. Or it's Shmul Yom, yeah. Anyone has to do with Yom, I think mostly does require that parameter. Okay, Mishna's Nazir Shtei Naziros. Now, going back to the topic of the last parak. Mishna's Nazir Shtei Naziros, somebody who took a nether for 2 Naziros. Megalech is a Rishoni Yom Shlosh V'echad. He shaves the first one on the 31st day. V'etzashni and the second one Yom Shishim V'echad, the 61st day. Because again, we do say Mitzvah Yom Kippur on the beginning, not on the end. So between the two of them, 61 days is enough. V'shein Gilech is Rishoni Yom Shloshim. Megalech es hashniya yom shishim. And if you shave the first one on the 30th day, the second one you can shave on the 60th day. If you did 16 minus 1, you also have 59 days is enough because one day does double duty. Zoe to say Rabbi Papayas. This testimony is testified by Rabbi Papayas. Al Misha Nazir Shtei Naziros, and so he took myself 2 Naziros. Shinglech Zerishon Yom Shloshim. Maybe he shaved the first one on the 30th day. Melech Shniya Yom Shishim. He shaved the second one on the 60th day. Vilech Yom Shishim Chosar Ayachad. If he shaved on the 59th day, Yotza, it's okay. Shiyom Shloshim Olam, and the 30th day counts as part of the count. Okay, now, so far so good. Now the Gemara gets really longish. Really? Ready? I should say. Hishtim Nazirus Rishon. The guy kept 2 Nazirs one after another, accepted 1 or 2 Nazirs after another. Rishon Nazir Rishon. Ubad should be Lishoyel Alashniya. He came to undermine the second one. But he wanted to be Shoel Neder. He had Chalota for Pesach. He didn't want to keep the second one. Lama to Pesach. And it should be Lama to Pesach Lashniya. Change it. They didn't find a Pesach one. Achimotzu Pesach Shalari Shoina. But they found a Pesach for the first one. So he kept one, came to get a Pesach. They couldn't find a Pesach for his second neder, but they found a Pesach for his first neder. So what happens now?
This Kabbalah was for the wrong.
Nevertheless, Olas Lo Shnia Rishona. He should be matir neder on the first neder, and the Shnia is counted. That which he kept is counted for the second neder. Okay, it's a big kula, right? Since once he's matzir the Rishona, even though he already took it, by definition, the Naziros he kept becomes the Shnia. You hear that, Bino? Okay? Says on Monica, what are we talking about? What's the case? Top of you base of if you're going to say he's Nazir twice, says he's Nazir 2 times 2, Nazir Shabbato Maftiso Batos Kulo. Then if he nullifies part of his neder, he nullifies the entire neder. Because it's a neder which is partially bata. So, before we go any further, the Bavli argues on this. Bavli holds, and the Brahman Paschal like the Bavli in this case, we don't say neder shuta mitzvah so kulo kuta kulo. In this case, we say both. We say whatever neder was what's the word? Nullified. Was nullified, the other neder remains intact. Yeah, so the or Sameach has a pshat. Well, I wanted to say what the pshat is like this. Actually, Vilna Ephraim also has a pshat. I realized just now I should have written down Vilna Ephraim inside of my Gemara, but I didn't. But I think what I'm about to say is more or less Vilna Ephraim. With variation. If you hold, it's machlokus about how you hold, the same halachos mitzvahs yon kakulo, which we spoke about between the Yerushalmi Valley floor before underlies this machlokus as well. If you hold like the bottom mitzvahs yon kakulo, its definition, that means the first Nazirus is over in the morning. If you know there are two Nazirus, there are two separate Nazirus. The first one will be over in the morning, and the second one will start in the afternoon, but there's a gap between the two of them. Because mitzvah yon kakulo, according to the Bavli, means the first Nazirus is severed. It stops in the morning. But according to Yerushalmi, that's not what mitzvah yon kakulo means. I don't know exactly what it means, but it doesn't mean the Nazirus is over in the morning. And therefore, the two Nazirus run into each other. And that's why Neder Shabbat Mitzvah Lo Batakula. And here in a Freiman, depends on Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Shmuel, Machlokes had a couple of times already, whether you go after the time of the Amira or the time of the Neder takes effect. Because if you go after the Amira, then Yerushalmi is correct that they're both linked together. But if you go after when the Nazirus takes effect, so then it depends whether the old Mitzvah Yon Kakulo stops the first Nazirus, and therefore they're not connected with each other, so therefore you get matter not one without the other. Or if the Mitzvah Yon Kakulo doesn't stop Nazirus, just allows you to bring your Korbanos midday, then the second nether is connected to the first nether, and then if you nullify one, you nullify the other. Okay? So it says the Gemara, so again, Ma'akim Imar already knows your time, and then you nullify part of it. Notice both of them so about those kula. Remember, if you're going to say Arei Nazir Shloshim Yom Elu, Shloshim Yom Elu. So whenever Nazir for these 30 days, these 30 days. Now the Pashut shot is you meant I want to be Nazir from day 1 to 30, and from day Nazir from Nazir again from 30 to 60. So if you undermine the first Nazirus, the second Nazirus is from 30 to 60, not from 1 to 30. But the Rebaz in the previous parak said that Arei Nazir, let's get over here. Arei Nazir, Shloshim Yom Elu, Shloshim Yom Elu. So the Rebaz it said it's going the same 30 days. And the same 30 days he's taking two separate Nazirus netters. The thing is they can't both evolve simultaneously, so therefore we push off one to after the other. But I think that's still the same idea. I think that the Rebaz also works out that even if you say Arei Nazir Shloshim Elu, Shloshim Yom Elu, so it still means that when the Nazirus comes into the world, it's going to be 1 to 30 and 30 to 60. If you said Rishoina, you said Arei Nazir, and then you said Arei Nazir again, so then they might be simultaneous. But if you said Arei Nazir and then said Arei Nazir in one statement, and you said Elu twice, so then you know that your Nazirus is going to be one after the other consecutive. I'm fudging, because I really want to make the Rebaz work the previous parak, because otherwise I have to go back to the previous parak, and for whatever reason change the pshat over there. But the push pshat over here is that Arei Nazir Shloshim Yom Elu means they're in B'davka consecutive, and the second one is B'davka from 30 to 60, and therefore even I nullify the first one, that which I kept cannot constitute the second Nazirus, because the second Nazirus is chronologically skewed in that case. Okay, that's the Pashut Pshat. Okay, so that's what it says here. So that's the case. The second one cannot be covered by the first Nazirus you kept. So what are we talking about? Boy, remember it says, Harei Nazir v'Nazir. Right? He says, I'm Nazir v'Nazir. Now in this case, he said, Harei Nazir v'Nazir. So then, Yerushalmi at home at Bay is going to say, the truth is he's an idiot. We'll see why in a minute. But he has to keep both Nazirus. And that's why, if however, he finds a Pesach to the first one he kept is supplanted by the second one, which he has not kept, and Taki only has to keep one Nazirus between the two.
So the second good Nazir.
You're saying good, nevertheless, we'll see what it says on the base. Anyway, be that as it may, and this is only Ba'omer, what about the Korbanos? So, about the course, if you said Boimer Elu Nazirus, then generic, then you can use them for then the fact that they were linked to the first one is not a problem. If you say about the Karbonis, Elu Nazirus I, Velu Nazirus Acheres. Yeah, Acheres is explicit. He said for one korban is Nazirus 1, the other is for Nazirus 2, and then you want to mine Nazirus 1. You can't use korbanos for Nazirus 2 for Nazirus 1 because the korbanos were designated independently, right? Lo b'do olos lo shniya barishona. In this case, the korbanos the second time cannot serve for the first time. Okay? So far, so good. Amr Eliezer said, you know what? Rabbi Eliezer harks us back to the previous parak. What happens if he did, until now we're assuming between the Nazirus he shaves. Right? That was our mission, right? He took two Nazirus, he shaves in the middle. Zot Rabbi Eliezer, Hishlim Nazirus Rishona. If you continued on, you were mashlim the Nazirus Rishona by going into the second Nazirus. Became Chivi Korban Giluach. If he went, he brings the korban at the end of the second Nazirus. Olos lo Rishona Shniyo. The first one works with the second one. Whereas he also, like we learned last night, that it's possible to do two separate tiglachos, but you can be yoytze with one tiglachas. When it's one tiglachas at the end of the second series. Now the Ribaz, I got to tell you, wants to be mechalik between the case in the previous parak and the case in this parak. He wants to draw a distinction, but in Pashtus, this is the same case. Okay. Now I'm going to come back to this issue of the Ribaz in a few minutes. But anyway, what? He says, I want to be Nazir or Nazir. So let's keep two Nazirus, right? No, and Rabbi last time, in case we didn't cancel the first Nazirus. We didn't nullify. He definitely kept both. But he didn't bring the Karbanos between number 1 and number 2. So the Karbanos brings at the end works for both. As long as one ran into the other. Ishlum, Nazir, Shniel, or Rishona, they flowed into each other. Excuse me? Yeah. Says the Gemara, Hifrish Shteim Ka'achas. What if you set aside both Karbanos at once? Now, it seems like that. What? Did I skip? You're right, I'm sorry, I skipped. Sorry. Rabbi Yaakov Barachov Pakil Chavrayim. Rabbi Yaakov commanded Chaverim. In Shmaitu Mila Rabbi Eliezer, if you hear this statement of Rabbi Eliezer, that he yoytze with the korbanos you bring after the second one, even on the first one, having yoydin, you should know, Rabbi Yochanan Polik. And we saw that at the end of the last parak. Rabbi Yochanan holds you cannot be mitzaref. Each Nazirus needs its own tiglachas. So he said, Kedenk. Remember that Rabbi Yochanan holds you can't be yoytze with one, need to have both independently, right? At Yorvi, Kol Korbanosai, Kirabonam. However, you should remember that's like Rabbanam. If you lo korban echad, korban chai taka one works. Now I made a mistake in this last night. At the very end of the evening, I said Rabbi Shimon Chai conceded to his talmidim. Rabbi Shimon Chai argued his talmidim. His talmidim are the ones who said he could be yoytze with one korban where one Nazirus comes after the other. Take a look at the very end, last paragraph, the last 3 lines. That's what it said in Yafam Rao right before the end of the parak. And I thought that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai that's Rabbanan Shita, the rabbi of the Talmid Shimon Chai. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai argues on that. That's not actually what the Gemara says. The Gemara says both his Talmid and Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai agreed to that. And when at the very end of the parak, Rabbi Yochanan said Chaluki Meir Shimon Chai is referring to Rabbanan who don't appear in the Brisa here. So the Shimon Chai and his Talmidim hold one korban is enough. Rabbanan arguing that and saying need 2 korbanos, one for the Nazirus and one for one Nazirus, one for the other Nazirus. Rabbanan don't appear though. Rabbi Yochanan at the very end, last paragraph, asserted there is a Rabbanan who argue on Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Okay? So that's what they're saying here as well. That which we said, that's what he said, that to one korban does not suffice, that's Rabbanan. Rabbi Shimon, the Shimon Bar Yochai, if you love the other korban echad, that's sufficient. Okay? Now, next case. It's all continuation of each other. You set aside both korbanos together. That means you set aside how many korbanos at once? How many? 6. Only one set works. Because each set has to be designated to a specific nazirus. Okay? You've got to be separated, each one separately, like you're supposed to. Ve'evi shel zu b'zu shel zu b'zu, but you mix them up. You brought the korbanos for the first and the second on the first. Lo yotz, it doesn't work. Because it has to be designated specifically. It says more, wait a minute, it sounds like you're not yotze, but all the kadesh kodsha. But you can't make it kadosh. It's made kadosh like korban, you can't be yotze with this korban. That's what it sounds like. Ultimately, Yerushalmi will fall off this view, if I recall correctly. But Lamaisa, that's Yerushalmi assuming that the Yotze the korban, not Yotze, but Kadosh it is Kadosh. Says the Gemara, is that true? Look at how you learn. Rabbi Chia said, Korban Ola Hashem al Nizro, his korban has to be brought to Hashem on his Nazirus. Sheyaktim Nizro, the korban we have this back on the Aftesa base, his Nazirus comes before his korban. The Lo Shikton korban Ola Naziro. And not that it's the korban precedes the nazirus. So how can he set aside korban on his second nazirus while it's still holding his first nazirus? It's Dav Shabbat. Says it's Dav Shabbat. Now, Lamaisa, we had this in the previous paragraph as well. On Dav Tes, the Gemara has the same kasha of Bechir. What? Yes, but on Dav Tes, the Gemara didn't say that. And that's what it says here as well. It says, he's already a Nazir. So why he needs to say it's going to be a separate Nazir for the next 3 days? But it's a shame Nazir. It's not a Dover Shlo Bololam anymore. But in the previous paragraph, the Gemara concluded that Gemara is not like Rabbi Chia. And there's a critical difference between that Gemara and this Gemara. That Gemara is talking about where one was his Nazirus and one was the Nazirus for his kid's birth. So there are two different types of Nazirus. And therefore the other Nazirus is considered Davar Shabbat vis-a-vis this Nazirus. But over here they're both his own Nazirus. And therefore neither is a Davar Shabbat. Makes sense, right? Nobody points it out, but it's going to be critical in the next few lines to remember that. Says the Gemara, Nichosh Nio Rishoina. But Rishoina Shniyah. Now, I didn't like any of the Perushim and any of the Forshim here, so of course I have my own shot here, which I think is right. I understand that you're not Yotze when you are sacrificing, according to what just said. You're not Yotze when you sacrifice the korban for, which you designated for the second Nazirus after the first Nazirus. Now why is that? Why should that be? The korban you designated for the second Nazirus, you're not Yotze after the first Nazirus. You switched, right? Because you're what? Because what is it? It's like Mechusar Zman. I didn't see anybody, so I was inspired to do it in front. He doesn't say it explicitly, but basically it's what he says. It's Mechusar Zman. Just like korban can't be before the 8th day, right, while it's still too young. Can't be a korban before it's Siba Mechayeves. Before the cattle, it says, can you bring a chatas if you haven't yet sinned? That's Mechusar Zman, right? Can you bring a korban your lettuce if you're still tormented? It's Mechusar Zman. Here too, since you intended this korban for a second Nazirus, which is not yet extant, if you bring it at the end of the first Nazirus, it doesn't work. That doesn't work. Right? So that I understand. I understand when you sacrifice the Nazirus, one of the Nazirus, no, number 2 after Nazirus 1, it doesn't work. But Rishoina Shniya. But why can't you bring the first korban of Nazirus after the korban for the first Nazirus after the second Nazirus? Why not? Either you should certainly be able to, because we know that you can continue on from the second Nazirus from the first Nazirus to the second Nazirus, right? So why can't you delay to bring the first of the card for the first Nazirus to the second one?
Because it wasn't designated.
Oh, so you're saying because it wasn't designated? No, but the Gilad Ephraim, he addresses your question. He says that kind of doesn't work here. That's why it's kasha, because we said a few minutes ago that it could be shoel on the first Nazirus and have the second Nazirus be the first Nazirus. So you see, the first Nazirus could be considered the first Nazirus, and it can also be considered to be the second Nazirus. Because Migo, the East, beyondly shoel, since he has the capacity to be shoel on it. Gewaltig. So this is like, so the first one is not considered to be necessarily completely separate from the second one. Since if he's shoel netter on the first one, which he kept, becomes the second one. So therefore, and the Gemara has a very powerful question. The card which is set aside for his first Nazirus, according to the Shita Rabbi Lezer, you can bring them all at the end. So why can't he be able to do that at the very end? It's not a problem chutz uzman, because it's after the time, and it's not a problem also of designated for the first Nazirus, because the first Nazirus, it always has the dormant potential to be the second Nazirus. So therefore, why can't you bring that one at the end? It's a very powerful question. Okay? So it says the Gemara, on Rabbi Yehuda, it said, Vada Messiah, Vada Messiah Rabbi Lezer. This is a proof, not to Rabbi Lezer himself. It's hardly not going to Rabbi Lezer. Rabbi Lezer, you're right, you could bring it at the end. It means the proof that there's a machlokus, Rabbi Lezer, Rabbi Yochanan. It's a proof to the validity of this machlokus. In other words, that if it says that you can't bring one for the other and the other for the one, that's got to be like Rabbi Yochanan. That's got to be that that each one has its own independent korban. Because like Rabbi Lezer, you could for sure push off the first one to the end and the second one. What's the big deal? It must go like Rabbi Yochanan that they're separated and distinct, and therefore you can't push off the first one to the second one. That's what Gemara says here. That's Gemara quotes again this machlokus. Like we just said, Lokein Rabbi Yaakov Baracha B'Pakir Lokein Rabbi Yaakov Baracha B'Pakir Chabai Command Charay Min Shmatu Milam Rabbi Lezer. Here that's Rabbi Lezer who said Rabbi Lezer what's going to combine the two, having Yod into Rabbi Yochanan Polik. So Rabbi Yochanan argues, actually called Karbonosa, and until he brings all those Karbonos. The Sabi Meimar Kirabonon, and we want to say now. Actually, this should be the opposite here. But since before it said that Lashon, Sarvi Meimer Karabonan Ram Rabbi Shimon, or something like that before, so therefore repeats it. You need to have dafka two separate karbonos, so the designation for one says, well, it can't be for the other. Taka could work. And even Rabbi Yochanan might have Rabbi Shimon could work, because Rabbi Yochanan concedes, but Rabbi Shimon argues on it. This Brisa says the one for Nazirus number 1 can't work for Nazirus number 2. Nazirus number 2 can't work for Nazirus number 1. That's going like Rabbi Shimon, like Rabbanan, who are going to Shimon Bar Yochai. Okay? Says Mara, Rabbi Chanina B'Shem Pichel said, I have a different answer. Remember we said Rabbi Chia can't hold that Karbanos set aside in Nazirus number 1 work for Nazirus number 2, where there are two separate chiyuvei Nazirus, one for himself and one for his kid, right? Because that's like a davar shelo ba'olam. So this brisa, which says zubi v'nei atzma, I mean evi zushu zu b'zhu zu lo yotza. It's a brisa. Who authored the brisas? The author of the Brisas, the editor of the Brisas actually, but most of the author main name is Rabbi Chia. So this is going like Rabbi Chia. Rabbi Chia holds the korbanos which you set aside for your Nazirus can't work for your kids' Nazirus. The korbanos you set aside for your kids' Nazirus can't work for your Nazirus. Okay? That's sorry, let me explain. Yeah, and that's to say, and like the Gilin Ephraim want to explain, add the probably explanation, which is when it's your Nazirs, both your Nazirs, you can be shoyal on one, shoyal the Rishoina, and then the Nazirs you can't becomes the Shniya, right? But that's where both of your Nazirs, but where you the Nazirs, you're shoyal, let's say, one is your Nazirs, one is your kid's Nazirs. You're shoyal on yours. They can't count for your kids' Nazirs, because the whole time you're keeping it for your Nazirs. It has to be kept for your son's Nazirs. It's not your son's Nazirs, really. Nazirs on the birth of your son. In other words, where there is no different Siba for the Nazirs, they can be shoyal on one, and this will take, the one you kept will take, then be affiliated with the second one. But where the Nazirs are dissonant, one of them is one Siba and the other is another Siba, you can't be shoyal on one and then have this one count as the other one. So therefore, that's what the Gemara is saying here. Rabbi Pinchas says, what are we talking about over here? We're talking about his Nazirs and Nazirs of his kid. So that's why Nazir, one separated for one does not work for the other, one separated for the other does not work for that. And also, before we said that it's Mekudesh, it's just you're not Yotzei. Now it seems, although the Yerushalmi doesn't say it specifically, it seems we're reneging on that. Because according to Rabbi Chia, it's not even Mekudesh, right? He says Mekudesh when Ba'oime B'Ziruso. It's two Nazirs for the same Siba. But one is Nazirs for himself, and the other is Nazirs for his kid. So Taki, if you are Mafresh one, Mafresh both, Mafresh both simultaneously, they can't both be Nazirs. Because one of them is for the Nazirs you have now, but the other is for Nazir Shlo Bolola. So therefore, again, going back to the Brisa, which is the line which has the ask to bring, he was staying according to Rabbi Chia now, he was staying same Achas. If you satisfy both of them as one, it doesn't work because the one for Nazirus Beno simply cannot work for Nazirus so because it's two separate Nazirus. The Sibur Chayavis is separate, right? And let's say for some reason you didn't do Tiglachas on the first one until you got to the second one. The reason might be reason for Rabbi Lezer. They can do one Tiglachas at the end for both. But Lamais, according to Rabbi Chia, at the end, you're going to have to bring, if it's Nizirus So and Nizirus Beno, you're going to have to bring two sets of Korbanos at the end, right? Even if you were Mafresh the Korbanos, even if you kept it ongoing, and only did one Tiglachas at the end, but since Rabbi Chia holds that Nizirus So and Nizirus Beno are two separate Naziriyos, you have to have two sets of Korbanos at the end. And one set will not work for the one Nazirus, for the other Nazirs, and the other set will now work for this Nazirs because of the dissonance between the two.
So if he wasn't Mafresh,
yeah.
He has to go back and Mafresh?
He has to be Mafresh, yeah, he has to separate. In other words, had we not told like Rabbi Chia, and we had said you can go, the same Korban could work for Nazirus So and Nazirus Beno, and we passed it in Rabbi Lezer, so at the end of Nazirus So and Nazirus Beno, we talked said in the previous parak. You only bring one set of Korbanos for both. But like Rabbi Chia, that they're dissonant, and that you can't be doing Marfish and Dovish Ba'olam either, so therefore you can't be Marfish for the second Nazirus while keeping the first Nazirus. And at the end of the second Nazirus, you're going to have to bring both sets of Korbanos, not one for both of them. Okay? So that's what it says. But again, Rabbi China, B'Shem Bill says, you put them Nazirus So, Nazirus B'No. In this case you want, so Bitmiya, the Gilin Ephraim says, in this case you want the second one to work for the first one. It can't. When can that work? Only when it's the same Siba. But not when it's two separate Sibas. Okay. Rabbi Yisrael says, located now, again, the Ridbaz is a totally different parish here, but if we learn that Ridbaz parish here, I'm going to be cryptic, but learn that Ridbaz parish should have to go back and change everything we learned the past 2 days. So everyone's going to learn just like the Shari Teres Yisrael, Gilin Ephraim, and the Gilin Ephraim, which is actually learn like the Shari Teres Yisrael learns like the Korban Eidah basically. Rabbi Yisrael said, Loki Tzavina Meimar, Boy Me'areni Nazir. Now he's not going back anything we learned till now. He's going back in the Brisa. The Brisa says, Hikrim Shel B'zu B'zu Lo Yotza, right? So didn't we say that he actually argues on the Brisa, basically, or asks a question on the Brisa? I'm not sure exactly what his intent is. But Logan Tzavina man, but did you say, what's the case we're talking about here? We said, Boy Me'areni Nazir, Vin Nazir. Right? Well, that's what his case is talking about. So about a case where could possibly we say that that's talking about that you can be shoyl al Rishona, and then the Shnia counts as the Rishona when you say Areni Nazir, Vin Nazir, right? In that case, you want him to have to bring two separate cards to say the card for one doesn't work for the other, and the card for the other doesn't work for that one. Doesn't make any sense. B'dino yashloya Nazir lachas. Person says Areni Nazir, Vin Nazir. Logic dictates should only be Nazir once. Even though he used the Vav HaChibur. You know why? Because the Korban says, what he really meant to say is, Areni Nazir, Ben Nazir. In other words, he claimed to strengthen his resolve and fortify himself. So that Taki only should be Chayiv to keep one Nazirus. So it's a Chumad Rabbanan, he says, that he should keep Nazir twice, because we don't allow stuttering. You have to say, if you stuttered it, you got to keep twice. So, you're going to be more machmer him and make it a chumrah that he has to keep two nazirus. And besides, you're going to say that you can't sacrifice the one for the other and the other for the one. That's too big a chumrah. Now, I'm not sure. That's how Korban explains it. I'm not sure exactly what he wants to say with this. I'm not sure, and it just leaves it dangling. Does he want to go back and change the scenario? Does he want to go back and change halacha? Does he say, I don't hold of this brisa? What exactly his thrust is, I don't know. But he's trying to stress to us that the concept of Arei Nazir to keep two naziros is taka chumra d'rabbanan in that case.
I would like to say that those people makes it
separate.
It's not only separate, but one is interdependent on the other, so that you can't cancel this first and have the second one take over. Because the second one follows the first one. If you don't have the first one, you have to have the first one in order for the second one to exist.
No, but that Yerushalmi does that. Yerushalmi said that's true. We said Areni Nazir stay palming. But if we said Areni Nazir, Vin Nazir, then it would be two separate Naziros. So that the Yerushalmi ignore. I mean, maybe it could be Yerushalmi. Maybe it could be you're right. Maybe it was we could take out the Vav HaChibur and say it said Arei Nazir. But there was a Vav in the Yerushalmi. We would have to amend the Yerushalmi, which is not so terrible. We do it about 10 times a night. But that we'd have to say. All right, it's late. I don't know how it got so late. The next Mishnah is pretty cool. It continues along the same lines you're talking about. Misham Areni Nazir. Somebody said, I'll just go a couple of minutes. Misham Areni Nazir. Somebody says, I'm a Nazir. Nitma Yom Shloshim. He becomes tummy on the 30th day. It starts to call everything's undermined retroactively. Rabbi Omer Lo Sasar L'Shiva. It only has to keep 7 days of Tara, and then he brings his karbanos. Arei Nazir Shloshim Yom. We can say he's Nazir for 30 days. Nitma Yom Shloshim becomes 30th day. Even Koreb Lezer Sasar Sakol. Now, if you're the Bavli, you explain this Mishnah Pashut, right? The Reish is talking about a case where it's not a malos, so you come tell me on the 30th day. Tanakam holds you're Soiser Sakol because he doesn't hold Mitzvah Kulo. But it says no, you're not Soiser anything. You just keep 7 days, keep your 7 days of Tara because you have to bring in korban. Then you bring in korban. I continue with the procedure because Mitzvah Yom Kulo. Right? So therefore your 30 days is complete. As opposed to the Seifa, where you say Arei Nazir Shloshim Yom, that's a malos. You don't say Mitzvah Yom Kukulo. So in that case, Nitma Yom Shloshim, Sasar Sakol, he can tell me the last moment before Shkia. You don't have malos of 30 days, so you have to keep all 30 days. Pashut, that's where the Bavli learns the Mishnah. But the Yerushalmi can't learn that way, because the Yerushalmi doesn't learn there's a chiluk between Mikzas Yom Kikulo and by Melos and a regular one, and that's why you have this mind-bogglingly long rid-bas on the topic, which is actually very good. It's actually very good, and that's how I'm going to learn the sugya. But we'll have to leave it for tomorrow night.